This video is brought to you by Squarespace. What's up guys, Jared back. So I've been asked this question many times over the years, and that question is, what's on my device? Alrighty, so what is on my device? But before we jump into that, one question that another question that a lot of you guys have asked over the years is, what is my daily driver? What device do I always fall back on? And that is my Nexus 5. Now that all depends on the current generation of processors. You know, the Snapdragon 800 generation of processors, I should say, or of devices, I should say. You know, we've got all kinds of great devices, and technically speaking, the Note 3 is a lot faster than the Nexus 5, but I just love the Nexus 5 for the size, stock Android, and so many other reasons that could take up the entire video, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, just in case you're wondering, my Nexus 5 is my device of choice for now. Alrighty, so moving right along, right from the lock screen, you'll notice that I do have some different changes. This is all thanks to the Candy Cat ROM sweetener packs. Now, I don't have Candy Cat ROM loaded. I've actually got just stock Android rooted with Xposed framework installed. But you can flash the Candy Cat zips or the sweetener pack separately, and you can do some cosmetic changes like this with your lock screen. I've got some different status bar icons that have been changed, as well as some different navigation bar buttons that have been changed. Now, you'll also notice right off the bat that my home screen is pretty boring. It's just this. That's it. And the reason behind that is because I used to load up themes and I used to load up widgets on my home screen, but I quickly realized that A, I get bored really quickly, and so I don't want to keep switching themes over and over again, and B, all those widgets, I just never looked at them. And I realized that to get me throughout the day on a daily basis, there was only a small amount of applications out of all the applications that I have installed that I ever need to use throughout the day. So I thought to myself, you know what, why don't we just go with something, as far as the background, my wallpaper is concerned, go with an application that will just revolve wallpapers at an interval of my choice, and we'll just keep all of the icons on the desktop that I use every day. And it just works for me. And if I want to see the pictures behind it, I can just go ahead and do that without a bunch of clutter on my display. And I mean, you could have a widget clock up there, but there's one already there, so what's the point? So I mean, that's just kind of the way that I rock my device. I know it's kind of boring. So everything that you see here is what gets me through the day on a daily basis, as well as all of my Google applications and services. Considering I'm a YouTuber, a lot of this stuff is pretty important to me and I use every single day. But obviously we want to jump into the app tray because this is where all the magic takes place. So 500 Firepaper, okay, thank you very much for leaving comments. 500 Firepaper is an awesome wallpaper application, again, for revolving applications, made by Chainfire, famous developer over on XDA. And it's just a great application, and it's free. A1SD Bench is an awesome application for benchmarking your RAM, your internal storage, your external storage, like USB flash drives. I've used it to benchmark my Patriot USB flash drive. Allcast, awesome companion application for the Chromecast. Well, I should say eventually it'll be an awesome application. It's still got a bit of a way to go. However, I'm confident that one day it'll be just amazing, and that's why it stays on my device. APK Extractor is a really useful tool for my videos because some of the applications that I review for you guys, the developers lock them down to be just a specific set of devices, like the Galaxy devices or maybe just HTC devices or something like that. Whereas we know that 90% of the time when they do that, it's actually capable of running on a lot of different devices. So if I happen to review an application that is only specific to one device, I'll rip the APK, load it onto my cloud storage, and then you know, post a link on the video so that you guys can go ahead and sideload it afterwards. Because I am rooted, obviously I've got BusyBox. Moving right along there, Clean Master is an application I reviewed for you guys a while ago. Great application, great UI, very useful, very powerful, and it's meant for cleaning up your device's storage just in case you're starting to run a little bit short. Cozy Magnifier, I use this application like maybe 1 or 2 times a year, but those 2 times a year that I do use it, it comes in really handy because it works very well. It's actually an app that I reviewed a couple of years ago. Dead Trigger 2. Now, I don't play a whole lot of video games on my device. I do enjoy them. I just don't play them a whole lot because I do have a PlayStation and I spend most of my time in front of the computer, and my computer's right next to the PlayStation, so I may as well just use that if I want to play some games. However, if I'm out and I'm away from home for an extended period of time and I want some entertainment, it's always nice to have a couple of top-notch games on your device. Death Trap is an application that or a game I should say, that I was going to review a long time ago, but I decided against it because it didn't meet my standards. Now, Don't Pause is an awesome application, very simple, but very useful. I just reviewed it before I started this video, and it's basically, you know, when you're listening to music through your headphones, as an example, on your device, and maybe you receive a notification and it interrupts your music, and that can be really, really annoying to myself personally. So once you have the Don't Pause service running, it prevents that from happening. So if any emails, text messages, or whatever come in, it won't interrupt your music, which I think is awesome. ES File Explorer is hands down my favorite file explorer of choice, which actually replaced Root Explorer a long time ago, because Root Explorer just got very boring and overwhelming. Their UI is just a little bit overwhelming, and it definitely needs a huge update. So I switched over to ES File Explorer, especially because it's free. Moving right along, GravityBox is an exposed framework module. Helium's a pretty decent backup and restore, and application backup and restore app. It's made by Koosh as well. For me, on every single device I've ever had, it never works 100%. There's always something wrong with it, but I do use it to keep regular backups of some of my applications, just in case I happen to lose it from like a ROM backup or something like that. Instagram, I'm terrible at social media, but I do my best, and so I try and use Instagram as much as possible. Mega is the Android application for Mega Upload, the website. Great application to use. Super fast upload speeds, super fast download speeds, and 50 gigs of free storage, and it's all encrypted. You can't go wrong, and I do have a couple of files on there that I might need from time to time, and so it's handy for me to just have the application so I can download those files if I need to. Moga Pivot, again, I don't do a whole lot of gaming on my devices. However, I do have the controller, and if I'm out and traveling and I might want to play some video games, I'll toss that controller in my backpack, and then the application's ready to go. Musée is another awesome wallpaper application. It's kind of famous for the whole like random pictures, random wallpapers, but you know, it kind of blurs it out the background, then you just double tap the screen and it unblurs it. I recommend trying it out. That's what I'm using currently. Netflix, for obvious reasons, entertainment. Nexus USB OTG. The Nexus 5 is USB OTG enabled. However, it's not compatible right out of the box, so I can't just plug in a flash drive and it just opens up the file manager like Samsung devices. This application doesn't require root. It does cost a couple of bucks, but it was well worth it. The application is rock solid stable. It's dead simple to use, and it just works really, really, really well. So that's why I have that one. And Playboard, little tip for you guys. A lot of you folks out there have asked me several times where I find some of my awesome applications, or where I find some of the awesome they're not mine, where I find some of the awesome applications that you guys have just never heard of before. That's where. So sometimes, unless a developer approaches me with their application and it meets my standards, I'll review it. However, a lot of the time I will spend several hours on Playboard going through thousands of applications, ones that I think just have that certain something, that certain uniqueness, maybe that nobody else has seen before, though that is becoming a little bit more difficult as time goes on because more applications hit the Play Store and a lot of them are garbage. But anyways, that's where I get my applications from. Just a little tip for you guys. Plex is a media server, media type sharing application. I originally got it for my Chromecast, but because my Wi-Fi signal is so shitty down in the basement, or in my living room I should say, I can't stream to my Chromecast, so that application lives on my device for another day when we move out of here into a house soon, hopefully this summer, and set up a new Wi-Fi network. Anyways, Purchased Apps is an awesome application. It's what I use when I get a new device or something like that, and I think to myself, oh man, I wonder what all those applications that I spent money on are. I can't remember what they are. Well, instead of wasting the money and forgetting about those applications, I mean, you could go through your Google account and look it up, but that's tedious. Just go ahead and tap on Purchased Apps, select your account, and it brings up the list. Super easy. Pushbullet is something I use with my wife mainly, just to send and receive links to each other on our phones or on our computers. ROM Manager, again, it's one of those applications that I rarely use. However, it is a very quick and easy way to flash and install Clockwork Mod Recovery. So for sometimes some ROMs that I try to install, for whatever reason the developer maybe forgets something or whatever the case, and it can only be flashed via Clockwork Mod Recovery, I've got ROM Manager to flash it really quickly and just kind of get that issue out of the way. Now, Safe and Cloud is hands down my favorite password manager. I've tried several different ones out there and I've paid for several different ones out there. I never liked their UI. UI and several other sort of back-end management systems that they have. I just didn't like it. And Safe and Cloud, however, kind of like stole my heart, and I've been using it for a couple of years now, and I'm never going to go back. SD-Mate is much like CleanMaster, but the reason why I have both of those on my device is because sometimes SD-Mate catches things that CleanMaster doesn't, and vice versa. Shadowgun Dead Zone, hands down my favorite game on Android of all time. Shazam for tagging music. Songza because I'm terrible at finding new music, and I just like playlists put together for me, and if I like an artist, then I'll just go and pirate the song or whatever, I don't know. Soundhound, same reason as Shazam. Space Hero is a game that I've been planning on showing you guys for a very long time now, but I always forget. Awesome game, great pick up and go game. It doesn't matter if you only have 30 seconds to play, just play it, and good graphics as well, and it's free in the Play Store. Speed Test, because I'm always always obsessed with what the speed is and the connection is to my device. SwiftKey, hands down my favorite keyboard that will ever be and ever has been. It's just, there's nothing else like it out there, and I don't care what anybody says. There's a lot of great keyboards out there, but SwiftKey is hands down, in my personal opinion, the best one out there. Twitter, because it's Twitter. Xposed Gel is another Xposed framework, and there's the Xposed installer. Then, of course, I've got a couple of more Xposed modules and the YouTube application. So if you were wondering, and I'm not going to go into them, okay, because that would take up way too much time, but Gravity Box is an awesome Xposed module, and these are basically the Xposed modules that I always have installed. I'll probably play around with a couple of other Xposed modules from time to time to see if I want to do any videos on them, but these are the ones that are sort of my must-have Xposed modules. Anyways, guys, that's it. I'm looking, and it's about almost 12 minutes now, so I hope that I didn't, keep you from doing something important for 12 minutes. But anyways, I appreciate you watching this video as always. And if you like this video, click that likes button down below, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe for more videos. But before I go, I just wanted to leave you with a message from my sponsors.
Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website, portfolio, and online store. With super easy to use tools, amazing designs, the ability to drag and drop content, and 24/7 support, you can start today with a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. Just visit the link below or head over to squarespace.com and enter the offer code SMOKING at checkout. A better web starts with your website.